And we've done it! We've successfully transitioned from one scene to the next without any major issues.
You've spoken.
I
You've spoken it into existence.
I know. I did. I put it there. Next thing you know, all of Twitch is just going to collapse in on itself, just like it did last Thursday for, like, no reason.
Twitch, please.
Twitch, please.
You wouldn't do that to me.
We will give you bits. We will give you delicious bits. But bits are neither here nor there, because this week we are celebrating going into the second finale arc, or not finale arc. That's a horrible way of putting it. The second arc finale of this series as we go into what hopefully will be the last episode of Discovery.
And level 3!
Yes, and if everything goes successfully, we can look forward to level 3, which I almost feel bad as like, hey, if you die, you could have had it. But like, it's fine. So we are going to be leading in with some announcements. First off, if you haven't seen it yet, I was on the Saturday morning D&D show with Jordan of the Forgotten Realms Explain channel. He has put up the entire video onto their audio streaming service, as well as the Saturday morning D&D show YouTube channel. It's run by both him and Sir Lucian. I think they're doing an absolutely fantastic job each and every week, and you can usually find me hanging out in the chat, so I was more than ecstatic to actually be on the show and help out. Also, in other announcements, we also have a Patreon now, where if you guys want to become journeymen for a singular $1, hello cat, then you can join our illustrious Discord server and get access to all sorts of exclusively bad Photoshop imageries made by yours truly. And if you wish to become a dungeon delver, I will create a musically inspired dungeon every month and then send you a PDF for it, as well as you guys get to vote on what album I base it off of. So, like our party members who were singing One Direction earlier, if you guys voted on it, I would do a One Direction themed dungeon. But you gotta be part of the Patreon in order to A, vote on that, and B, get that dungeon. So, you guys should get on that, and then we will use our money from terrible life choices to make this life choice a much better one. And that, of course, is trying to pursue our hobbies as our careers. That's always a good time. But that is the announcement I have on there. Also, if you haven't checked it out or are just tuning in and want to familiarize yourself with our podcast, we have an audio podcast that we put up on Anchor FM, which does a wonderful job of actually just distributing it everywhere that is free to host podcasts. So if you use Stitcher, the previously mentioned Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, you can actually find us at all of those places. So you should add us to your favorites, download an episode, listen to it. It would mean a lot to even get a single review. But we're actually getting some pretty good traction on there. So it's up to you guys to make the difference. But that is all my announcements that I have for this week. So does anybody else have any announcements before we begin? I know, Danae, you always shake your head no at announcements, but if you guys want to watch some awesome artwork that's going on, as well as our beautiful faces, Danae runs a pseudo or a follow-along stream with what we do here, but it is art-based. So rather than seeing people's faces, you can see amazing art unfold before your eyes as the story is being told. It's almost like a living comic book, and I really like it. So you guys should check that out as well.
It's in chat.
It's in the chat. So without further ado, let's get into our brand new episode of Indoor Adventures. So last we left off, you guys had gotten interrogated by one Skavik slaughterhouse, and it was not exactly the most comforting of situations. I would say Gwen started to kind of like mentally backpedal to a less aggressive stance, which is something that caused a mild concern to come over the party, as for once she wasn't ready to just punch somebody in the kneecap. After having talked with Skavix for a length of time about the rules of the city, you guys were contracted to meet him outside of the Zesty Anchor first thing in the morning to go and investigate a series of undocumented tunnels that had been constructed underneath the city, which, as you guys found out 2 weeks ago when going up against the mob boss, Curdle, these kind of unsanctioned sewer hallways can get very dangerous, as Caelum had almost fallen a indiscriminate number of feet down to what would have surely been his doom. So there's a reason why the city takes very good care of what's going on in the sewers, because they don't want people going down there and falling to their deaths. So you guys had agreed to meet with Skavix, and then there was some talk amongst you about whether or not you should leave or if you should stay or not. But it was ultimately decided that you were going to fulfill your end of the contract that had been presented to you in the following morning. So you all had gone up to Blake's room, identified a chalice that allowed you to gain access to a pseudo-portent ability, much like a wizard would have, in that you are able to save a die roll once per day. And the last die roll, I believe, was a 10 by...
That was the previous night.
Previous night. Okay, so you have the option to redo it in the morning. So you can totally do that. If you want to do that, you can right now. Just get it out of the way. Dice cam. All right. So we have an 11 written down for Blake. Then we had our two elves and their very vivid trances, where Caelum read a book on how to swim, and Cori had a meditative, almost what would be described as a horrific flash, kind of going back to your past that was sobering enough for your form to shift you back to autumn. As you had spent the majority of last session in your very, very upset summer form. So we are going to come to our characters having all met downstairs first thing in the morning. Swift is the Tenwins, the Tabaxi night manager that has kind of taken over the Zesty Anchor, allowing Fang to get a good night's rest for the first time in what must be weeks. He has brought you your tea, your bacon, your coffee, as well as all of your other breakfast goodies, and then kind of seen himself back to the bar, or back to the kitchen to continue his prep work for the meals that were going to be necessary over the day.
What time did this guy say he was going to stop by? In the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Gwen's just going to be drinking her coffee, eating her bacon. She might, if there's a quiet lull enough, like maybe go in the corner and play her flute, depending on how long everyone's up.
Yeah. You guys start your food, and you're about, I want to say, 20 minutes into just this breakfast meal that's kind of put in front of you, because what you ended up getting wasn't just bacon, but it was also like russet potatoes, some just like leftovers from the night before that would either have to get thrown away or cooked up to be somebody's, more like a potatoes O'Brien kind of thing, where it's just little diced up peppers and then potatoes as well, and that was kind of served to you. And Swift also makes a comment about how his claws make it easy to kind of shred all of the potatoes and vegetables as easy as he needs them to be.
Caelum's like mid putting a vegetable in his mouth, stares at Swift and just like,
"Don't worry, my paws are very clean, yeah." He just leaves and returns back to the kitchen. And yeah, it's about 20 minutes into your guys' meal that you hear the doors swing open, as well as the footsteps that you know belong to one Skavik Slaughterhouse, guard captain of Shroudport. And he's dressed very finely. He has his little circle glasses on his face, as well as a handkerchief kind of tucked into his breast pocket. He looks at you and steadily approaches down. Well, I hope you all had a restful night's sleep. Do you have everything that you need in order to set out?
Yeah. Got your crossbow there, Blake? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suppose we'll have to.
Yes. Now, if you wouldn't mind coming with me, and trust me, there won't be manacles to go along with you this time, as you are currently under my employ.
Oh, solid.
Yeah.
Employment is a funny way of saying it.
Well, everyone must pay off their mistakes one way or the other, so this is you all paying off your debt to the city.
I think some would say that the city is indebted to us, but we shall see.
It's all about the paperwork, really. So, if you wouldn't mind. He motions towards the direction leading out of the bar.
We follow?
Yep. And when you guys exit onto the street, you can see that there is another guard who has come with Skaviks, and his helmet's on a little lopsided, and you can see that the tunic that he's wearing underneath his breastplate doesn't really fit him right. Like, there's a button that hasn't been done correctly. He just looks really tired and kind of disheveled. But he has a spear and a buckler shield with him. Skavik says, "All right, well, Sean will be leading you down into the sewers. He has a better understanding of where we believe this tunnel to start. Do you have any more questions for me before I leave you all in his care?" Excellent. And then he just motions, "As you were, Sean." Sean just like kind of just like waves at Skaviks, and Skavik just has this coy smile on his face, and he just walks off. Then Sean starts rolling his arm, just, "All right, yeah, so it's this way. Found you in the sewers. You guys probably know where it is. Gotta go up towards Market District, though. It's closer to where we need to go.
Are you okay, dude?
I'm just really tired, you know. I usually take the midday shifts because I like sleeping for a decent while. You know, sometimes you can't really get out of your shift. This way, he just sort of continues he just leads you guys up towards the kind of now pseudo-familiar streets as you've walked up and down them a handful of times until you get too close to where the entrance that Jingle actually took you guys down into the sewers several days ago now. Or yesterday, I guess. It feels like several days ago, but we all know it was one. All you studious listeners. So yeah, he leads you guys. He opens up the grate to the sewer and just, "All right, yeah, you four go in first. I'll follow. That way, if anybody asks, I mean, I'm a guard. We're just doing city work."
So, what's our actual objective here?
It's kind of explore, really, map it out as best you can. I think James is on duty outside of it. He'd probably have better knowledge. I'm really just here to escort. Then he continues kind of leading you through these tight corridors of the sewer. until he goes up to another guard who looks a little bit more put together, and they wave at each other, and then he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna just stand guard here. James, you want to tell him what you've seen? And this other guard comes up, and he has he looks very much more awake, like he's taking his job very seriously, even though he's kind of just standing next to what looks like it looks like the wood, rather than being built in this very angular way that the rest of the sewers are. It looks like the wood almost bends and curves into this kind of maw-like hole that the sewer itself creates, that leads farther down into it.
I don't like that.
Well, as you can see, that's not the way we build sewers in Shroudport. And he points to, again, this, like, it just looks like the sidewall of the sewer is just caving into itself without having any proper construction, almost like the wood is growing deeper into the side of the hill.
So, like, what did that?
Well, that is a good question. We don't know, to put it frankly. But what we do know is that there is something in there. And as much as I would like to say that... As much as I would like to say that we as the guards are you know, equipped to the teeth and we can take care of anything, this is something that we are finding ourselves at kind of a loss for. We'll go in and we'll look around, and we'll hear things, just kind of the scratching sometimes, or others heard a growling noise. I really don't like going in there. It's really dark, and human eyes, I can't really see in the dark that well.
Any other reports? Any other descriptions of
it changes
sounds, feelings? Changes.
The tunnel. We've had people go in with their mapping kits or with chalk to try and keep track of where they're going. And it seems like the deeper they go in, the more that they just find themselves back at the beginning. More that they find themselves just coming across their same markings and finding their way back out.
Physically, or like any sort of
physically.
confusion?
Physically,
Okay.
they come right back out of this maw, or of this, and he just motions towards the hole.
You just motion to everything.
Is this like magic shit, guys?
If I was a mage, I could probably tell you if it was magic or not. Yes.
Yes, Caelum, please.
Yep.
Caelum like starts pulling out some implements and stuff for a ritual, a really fun ritual.
Ooh.
Wait, do I even have that? Let me see. I might actually. Sorry, I'm so underprepared.
While he's preparing his ritual, Coriander's going to sense for any undead.
Yeah.
Anything that a paladin can sense, she's gonna be just like walking back and forth and kind of looking around.
All right. So, what is the divine sense ability? What is the wording on that?
You can detect good and evil until the end of your next turn. You can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell, or know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
If we
I
have
mean,
I can do this.
it's a little cheesy.
Yeah, no. So you are currently not getting you're not getting a read from anything standing on the outside of this. At least like a strong sense of like a creature or some defined entity. But it feels like the entrance to wherever this is leading you is actually giving off some fey, like the smell of fey, and not necessarily the good kind either.
Oh, fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. Caleb's gonna like wrap a rope around his waist and then like start wading into the maw.
Okay, you are still casting your ritual, I believe.
Yeah.
So Cyrulf, what do you have?
So Blake was asking all of these questions to see if he could recall any sort of studying or anything that he's done for this, specifically if it was Fey, Fiend, or Undead.
Okay. So make a insight check
Okay.
to kind of like just to see what you can pick up from what this guy's saying.
Cool. I do have a class feature where I would get advantage on intelligence checks to recall information about Fey. Or
Yeah,
Fiends
we'll
or
do
Undead.
we'll do the intelligence then.
Cool.
Yes, that is better.
It's an 11.
Alrighty. So with your 11, you've heard that most like undead really aren't capable of this unless this is an undead that you really shouldn't be messing with right now. But you do know that a lot of Fae like to play tricks on people. They use a lot of illusion magic. And Caelum, when you finish your detect magic as well, you get the sense that there is a lot of illusion magic going on here, as well as a slight sense of necromantic magic kind of coming from much farther into it.
Any dread? I'm feeling a little dread.
You don't need to roll for that.
Feeling dread's a free
oddly, this
action.
place reminds me a little bit of home.
Is that good?
Not necessarily. Not the good side of home.
Well, there's illusion magic and a little necromancy in there, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, it's
It'll
not.
be fine, guys. Come on.
It's not fine, Gwen.
Well, we could just kill anything we come across, right? Like, that's the goal?
I mean,
Like, as long as it's not
Right.
we don't have any guards in there.
Right.
So if they look like a citizen, I know that you guys have had problems in the past. But really, please don't kill any residents of the city.
How will we know that, man?
Do y'all like carry identification or
Yeah.
No, but like if you see a person, maybe knock them out and then bring them to us.
What do you
instead
consider a person, sir?
Are you a sentient humanoid?
Oh. Yes.
Person.
Got it. Sentient humanoid.
Sentient humanoid who's willing to converse.
Right,
If
okay.
You are
So
a
if we
sentient humanoid who eats babies and smashes things. Monster.
Oh. Right. Okay. All right.
makes sense.
Guards. It's my guards. Just like we have to kind of draw a line somewhere, you know.
Right.
All right.
I feel like that's a good line, though. Like baby eating.
Yeah. Objectively bad.
Right. Right.
Just no.
Yeah.
No.
But veal.
I'm a vegetarian.
Oh.
Me too.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Didn't notice that. No wonder you didn't like the bacon.
I never touched the bacon.
That's what I'm saying. I thought you were just like picky.
No,
I mean, you
it's
are
a
picky.
lifestyle choice.
Is it?
When everybody who eats meat loves bacon.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
But-
So, just out of curiosity, other guards were saying that it gets very dark in there, and I know that your two elves can probably see in the dark, but do either of the other two need torches or anything like that?
Let me check to see if I do.
Light up the crossbow.
Oh, whoa, oh God. Oh,
Yep. Now we good, bruh.
I was just gonna hand you a torch? That's cool. That's a neat trick. Is there any way I could learn that at some point?
No.
Do you want to sell your
Okay.
soul to the devil?
I'm just gonna give Gwen a long look.
I wasn't saying that they had anything to do with each other. I was just asking.
They are not
You know
mutually.
what? I'm actually fine as a guard.
All right.
I'm cool.
You know what? You're doing a great job. You've been a great audience,
yep.
sir, and I appreciate you putting up with our bullshit. So I'm just going to give you a little present. I have this ale that I think you could enjoy after hours, obviously. I mean, if you take it now, I'm not going to. Yeah. And I'm going to give him one of my wine skins of Stone Drop Ale.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's just,
Gwen?
yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Who's first?
He's just sort of
Start
like
walking in.
looking at this ale and just like motions towards his sleepy friend. His sleepy friend just,
Nah.
He doesn't
don't
need any
shit.
help.
no,
it's
he's
cool.
going to sleep. He's going to sleep fine. He's like sleeping, standing up. His head's like his head is being held aloft by the metal on his armor that's sort of just like keeping it upright. So he looks like he's still on guard, but you can just hear these gentle Z's coming from outside of his helm. So yeah, you guys are you're gearing up to head deeper into this cave-like area.
Let's do it.
All right, so what is your guys' marching order as you look down this hallway and it just seems to go past your dark vision? Just this long, again, kind of like molded archway that leads down to that very tight floor. And you would have to go one by one going through here.
I think I should cover up the rear.
Oh, rare?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Is Caelum gonna fight me for first?
I'm going to go in front of Caelum.
Listen, I learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson.
It's all right, buddy. I got your front. And I pat him, like, on the stomach.
I'll
So
just
is it-
jab people from back here.
Yeah.
Is it Cori, Gwen, Caelum, Blake?
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
E.
Marching order. Done.
All right,
Yee.
so let me write that down
Am
so
I any
I
good at
don't
that
forget.
actually? Oh yes, I'm trained. Obviously. Elf.
Yeah.
Duh.
All right.
Kadoy.
So, yeah, you guys continue onward down this path, and as you progress down it, whereas in Curdle's maze, the angles had been very, very acute and just sort of snapping back and forth as he had to kind of build around the pre-existing structures that were within the sewer. This seems very gradual in its curves and very winding, and you kind of get the sense that you are almost winding down in almost like a corkscrew sense, but looking back and forth, you can't see that there's any real change in the ground. But you just kind of get that sense internally that you're just going into somewhere else deeper within these sewers. And you continue onwards for probably a good 5 minutes or so, until looking back you can't see the exit that you had previously come in, but looking in front of you, you can see that this winding pathway eventually splits off, where one goes straight and veers off to the left, and the other is a quick turn to the right.
Are there any sort of tracks or markings, anything that we would be able to use to track Faye?
Make an investigation check, and you'll still have advantage from your blood hunter. Right?
It wouldn't technically give me that. It would give me advantage on survival checks to track them, but
that one.
I guess we can
Yeah.
get to that. Ooh.
I'm still really bad at blood hunter, but I'll work on it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So that is a 17 plus 2. Okay.
All right.
First one was a 4.
So looking around, you kind of see that there are what looks like kind of slightly medium-sized claw marks in the ground that sort of go both directions, and they don't seem like they're like. It looks like whatever is in here has kind of made this area its home and freely walks whichever direction. So you can't really get a good trace one way or the other where it's not like, oh, it always goes this way and then that's it. It looks like it very much just wanders through this area. And you can see that there is... with your heightened survival, kind of looking up on the ceiling arch where it begins to curve into the dome of the roof, you can see that there is what looks like it looks I don't know how to describe it, but it is the like white spittle foam that you see on long fronds of grass near the river. It looks like that kind of clustered saliva thing, just more up on the ceiling that's kind of been spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
Cori,
Yes.
you wouldn't have, I don't know, come across something that would have done that, have you?
She'll have a look at the ceiling.
Okay. So
Would I be able to give her advantage on this?
yeah. So this will be a survival check as well to kind of to further identify what this is.
Jesus.
Man, that's a dice roll for sure.
All right. And the survival check. Straight 12.
Okay. So based off of this, as well as the claw marks and all of the illusions that you're kind of getting the sense of from your divine sense when you initially went in here, and it's kind of just been this feeling on the back of your, like in the back of your mind the entire time that you've been going through here. This is not one of the more pleasant fae that you have encountered before. It seems like whatever you are going against definitely has a this foam is not the mark of a passive creature. This looks like some way that it is marking its territory, or possibly just helping to coat this general tunnel with.
So definitely Fae, though.
Definitely Fae. You do get that sense from it, and you've had that sense going into it, and having Blake affirm that with you is most certainly adding to it, to this belief that there is an unseelie Fae at work here.
All right. As she's looking at it, her hair is like doing that Miyazaki thing where it just like visibly starts to poof up and like raise up a little bit.
Frackle.
She's like, yeah, it's her starting to raise the hairs on the back of her neck and her whole head. And she's like, it's definitely Fae, not the good kind.
Are there good kind of fae?
Motions to Cori.
You're a fae? I thought you were an elf.
Both. Both of those things.
Oh. Jeez, I need to reassess. Is it offensive if I call you an elf?
No, I'm both. I'm both
All
of
right,
those
cool.
things.
All right.
Yeah, like you know how Caelum, and she'll like just put a hand directly on his head. Caelum's a spooky elf.
Right.
I'm a fey elf. It's just different kinds.
All right, that's weird. I mean, to each their own, but more power to you guys. Obviously, you're very powerful.
Regardless, just be careful. This thing seems territorial.
Oh. Is it like, is this kind of a thing that like burrows or like has a den? Is there more than one?
I mean, it can either climb or it can project whatever that is up there.
Ugh.
Gross.
Ugh.
Gross.
Is that like are we gonna get stuck if we touch that stuff?
I don't know. Caelum?
I'll poke at it with my spear.
Yeah, and it just sinks into it and comes out. It is just this weird amalgamation of foam that sort of has existed on the top part of the cavern. And you can see that is happening on the rightmost tunnel, not the left one that sort of veers off and heads further down.
Is that poo? Or is it like secretion like a snail?
Mm-hmm.
Snail creation.
Snail creation. I mean, all right, so are we still good to like track this thing or like are we bailing?
Absolutely. We're going to track it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
We're like, oh, okay. Yeah, they do lead the way.
And I will lead the way. So one last thing about this one particular class feature that I'm probably abusing, but
That's okay.
and this is the Hunter's Vein class feature in case anybody wants to look this up. If I am tracking one of these types being Fey, Fiend, or Undead, I cannot be surprised by them.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sounds good. I will make it.
And I still have advantage on survival checks to track them.
Okay.
It's your job, man.
Sounds.
I'm good against 3 things. This is one of those things.
Surprise!
Surprise,
Remind me
motherfuckers.
to never try
Well,
to
I
hide
mean,
from
surprise except for Blake. Because he can't be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, not like during a surprise. Or he could be surprised, like, oh my gosh.
Like,
Oh,
wow!
God.
Surprised like you guys were in the magic shop last week. All right. So Blake, you are heading off first down the hallway in front of you. What is the current marching order? Now that Blake is leading.
Late Cori, Gwen, Caelum?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I ran out the back.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I'm just gonna touch back to make sure he's still there.
I'm
I don't
still
want to have
here,
one of those.
Gwen.
I'm just making sure, man. You know, you're a sensitive little boy, okay? And by that I mean you're like you get hurt a lot, okay? I'm just worried. Shut up.
I didn't say anything.
So, you guys continue on down this corridor, and as you do, Cori, I would like for you to make a perception check.
Ooh. That's gonna
That's
be
right.
a 12.
Okay. So with your 12, as you're walking, you feel a chill down the back of your spine that starts just at the base of your neck and steadily goes down until it's almost right between your shoulder blades. And you can feel this presence from behind you as you get this chill. And when you turn
I turn around.
when you
Yeah.
turn around to look, You see at the end of your vision, going down the leftmost hallway, just the flickering tails of an ice blue cape.
An ice blue cape?
Yes.
Coriander doesn't even think. She just runs after it.
Brah!
Okay.
Over
Okay.
us?
Yeah. Like, just shoves past them and goes.
Cori?
Damn, what? Wait, no!
Okay.
Are we splitting the party?
No.
I mean, she's not necessarily going to, like, keep on running. She's just going to get to that corner and look around it.
Okay. So yeah, you get to the end of that corner, look around it, and this time you see that same thing that you saw before, but there is also a leg with it, and you can see a very familiar greave that sort of quickly goes around the corner at the end of your dark vision down this hallway, again with this trailing cape.
All right. She's gonna kind of stop there and kind of like blink her eyes, and like she's looking back and forth between her party and the thing she's seeing, as if she's like confused and she wants to keep running, but she, like, her instincts are telling her this is a bad idea.
Yeah, so that's what you guys see, is Cori having this internal quandary.
Do we actually... You have the light, right, Blake? So I'm just gonna run back towards her because she went somewhere and I feel like she's in trouble or something. There's something to fight. And then I can't see in the dark, so I'm gonna promptly run into Cori's legs.
Ah!
Yeah, damn it! Who is it? I'm gonna axes him.
Yeah, and Gwen, you do not see anything. You don't have dark vision, so already
Right.
looking down this corridor is very difficult. And whereas Cori can see the back end where another hallway turns, you just see darkness stretching out in front of you.
Cori? Is that you?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here,
all right, cool. What happened? What'd you see? What'd you do?
I saw something, and if it's what I saw, then it's not good. But if it's not what I saw, then it's still not good. Whichever it wasn't good.
You're confusing me.
Is this a Fae thing that we're tracking?
Yes.
Oh, good. No, not good? I'm confused.
I saw something.
Right. That's the thing that we're tracking, right?
I don't know.
What?
This
Can
doesn't
you
make any
describe
sense.
it to Blake? Because I don't know what's going on.
Like there's nothing, like the cave isn't like cold or anything. Is it?
It feels cold to you, but Gwen, you don't feel any kind of temperature change.
Can't be here.
Use your words.
He can't be here. There's a friend I had back in the Feywild, and he's not my friend anymore. And if he's here, then it's not a good thing.
Is he a dick or is he like evil?
No,
the
I mean, it's
I'll explain it to
complicated.
you later. Like, relationship-wise, it's complicated?
No.
Oh. All right.
The point is that if he's here,
Right.
it's not good.
Okay. Is this someone we need to kill or just ignore?
I prefer neither. We he's probably gone by now.
Do you want to go after him?
Yes.
All right, Blake, light.
The Carmine light is going to get a little bit closer until Goth Dragon Dad is next to them.
All right. Cori, we need to fight some shit. You need to say, if this thing is going to hurt you, I'm going to fight some shit whether you say or not, okay?
Okay, just this might be a situation where we shouldn't kill.
I don't understand.
You know how that god was talking, like incapacitate, etc.
Oh, right. Oh, God. Okay. Fight, don't kill.
Yes.
Does Rule 3 come into effect? Diplomacy first?
That was a
Not
rule.
necessarily. No, actually, no. Attack on sight.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. And I cracked my
Attack,
finger.
but don't.
You know, I'm really confused as to the relationship of whoever this guy is, because you're like, don't hurt him, but hurt him real good.
Hurt him enough, but not too much. I got it. I got it, dude. It's cool.
I'll explain, but we should get moving because he was moving very quickly.
If he's Faye, let Blake track him because he's amazing at tracking.
Well, certain things. Yeah, if I can.
So yeah, you guys head down the hallway, and Blake, you are definitely getting a sense of Fae magic going on here. And as you guys progress through these hallways, I would like for you all to roll survival checks.
Oh boy. Something I'm bad at.
All of
Is
us?
this is this
Surviving.
other than to track Fae?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Oh, I
Straight
have
12.
12.
10.
Okay. So 12, 12,
16.
10, and 16. Okay.
got my level, bitches.
So the three of you begin, the three of you that rolled higher than 10 began like, all right, we're going to track this thing. We're going to go for it. We're going to get this thing and like take it down. And you guys start going down the left-hand corridor. And Caelum, you go to follow after them as you normally would. And as you go to turn around the corner, that wall, that opening that was towards that other hallway is just walled.
Oh, no.
Guys.
If they took my baby, I swear
And
to God.
you look around, and you turn around from behind you, and you see where the exit to this place was as well has also just been walled off.
Guys.
And kind of like you see the corridor that you came down and you and your friends came down, and you see that there is a wall to the right of that you just see sort of open up and stretch open into another expanding hallway down the way from you.
Okay.
The three of you, as you progress down this hallway, and you get about halfway down before you realize that the telltale clinking and anxious noises that Caelum is known for are currently not there. And when you look behind, you see the hallway towards where you were, but it's empty. And there's no wall blocking it off, preventing you from seeing that pathway where you went, but Caelum is just not there.
Blake, is your thing actually fire or is it magic fire? Can I light a
It's
torch
actual
off
fire.
of this thing? Off of his okay,
Great.
so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna light a torch and put one of my duders away.
It turns regular fire.
Yeah.
It's not the pink. Actually, it's not this color flame that you get.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
Excuse me.
He's magic.
For podcast listeners, the entire room just went red on Connor's screen.
I'm sorry, it went Carmine on Connor's screen.
That's the one.
And then I'm just gonna take off
Okay.
back towards where Caelum was and yelling.
Okay. So, Blake and Cori, are you stopping Gwen from running back to see where Caelum is?
I mean, we probably should.
Caleb's gone, he's dead.
Guys, I was literally in a hole that was 10 feet down. Sorry, that's a specific quote, but I guess he's dead.
I mean, if Gwen's literally just running away from the group, yeah, Cori will run over to her and grab her. What's happening? What's going on?
Caelum's gone.
What?
Yeah, and you look up and Caelum's nowhere to be seen.
little blinking outline of a Caelum.
We gotta go get him. You know how fragile he is.
Yeah, Blake is kind of panicking.
They have to start running circles and bouncing off of each other.
If I shoot, I'm going to shoot the wall behind us.
God, why don't you just shoot?
Well, no, that's the thing. You guys looking back, the hallway
Yeah.
extends like it normally was. There
Yeah.
is no
Oh.
wall separating you at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys just look
Yeah.
back and it's the same way that you went, but Caelum didn't follow you, and you don't hear his nervous stammering or
Yeah.
the clanking of his scale mail and
Yeah.
shield and spear.
Okay, then
Just-
we'll start heading that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Start calling for him.
Okay. So yeah, you guys continue onward, calling out for Caelum. And when you get back to that center chamber, the passageway that you had taken initially and then veered back from, you just see that there is wall, as it seems to have closed itself off. Your bolt sticks against wood.
Knock on it.
Yeah, sounds solid.
That's where we came from, right?
I think so.
Wall now? Is this a Fae thing? Is this like how the Feywild is all the time?
Is this a fake thing?
I don't know. Is this a Fae thing?
You guys can roll, Cori, you can roll a history or arcana check, depending on which one is better. Blake, you can make a intelligence check to find out if this is a Fae thing.
13.
Okay.
History or Arcana? They are both the same. 19.
Okay. So, yeah, this definitely seems like something that would be described as a Fae thing. In that currently you guys have wandered into the domain of something that seems to have control over its area. And normally this kind of thing doesn't manifest on the material plane. And so, Blake, that's why you're having a little bit harder of a time getting used to this idea, because the Fae that you have encountered previously have all been like sprites or elves or like other Fae folk, not necessarily something that is working towards what you kind of feel now is isolating you guys. And Cori, you know that this is very much a this kind of Fae thing. This is what you would find very deep in the Season Isles. This would not be something that you would see kind of bleeding over into the material plane. Like, this is something that you would definitely expect much farther in than the gates that you took to get out here.
This is too much like home.
We couldn't have gone into the Feywild, could we have?
Are we
I
in the
don't
Feywild
know.
right now?
I think it might have gone into us. She's just kind of like looking around.
Gwen's got like
very
mathematical equations around her head while she's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
It's not
Gwen did
very
not make
complicated
recording.
math, but there's just a lot of it.
Yeah, only addition and subtraction. Hey, you know, she has a slightly below average, but it's, you know, probably like she can at least do algebra.
Yeah, it makes more sense when it's like 5 gold pieces minus 4 gold pieces. Like, there has to be like money involved in it.
Yes, yes. If I have 6 drinks, how drunk will I be?
It's definitely equations more like that
Yeah.
versus than like fractions and all of that good stuff.
It's just sums.
Yeah, it's just sums. It's just a solid number.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Yeah, you guys are all kind of figuring out what this experience is that you are currently involved in. As the walls seem to just be closing and opening them depending on how they feel, as you haven't really found a better rhyme or reason yet, other than the Fae thing that you are currently after is actively working against you. So, Caelum, you are currently standing alone in this dark sewer, the Fae sewer, as we shall call it. So you are standing alone, kind of in this opening where you can either go back down the pathway that you and your friends were originally going to take, or you can go down this new pathway that seemed to have opened itself for you.
I turn around to the pathway where my friends would have gone down and just look down. Do I see any like sign of them?
You don't see any sign of them, and you don't hear any sign of them either.
I mean, if they went down that way, I guess I'll just go down that way.
No, Caelum, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow the tunnel where they would have gone.
Yeah, where you guys had been going initially.
Right.
All right. So yeah, you continue down this hallway, and as you continue walking, you can see that it turns into a corner in front of you, and then just continues on this rounded path. And you walk down and make this corner, and as you hit that crux, as you hit that angle that sort of allows it to turn down the hallway, you hear a sound in the back of your head, and it is a very familiar voice, a voice from your childhood, and it is the man who raised you, and you just hear the phrase, "They were monsters. I saved you." And that phrase just kind of echoes through the back of your head.
He quickly turns and like no one's around to see it, but he looks angry. Like this is the first time.
Yeah, and you are you're just looking around and there's no one. You don't see anything.
Yeah. He shouts, "You're supposed to be dead!"
Yeah, and it just echoes through these sewer hallways. All right. And then back to you other three who decided to stay as a cohesive group.
Caelum?
We have to find him now, guys. Seriously. Put on your tracking nose or whatever shit you gotta do and let's go.
I don't know if we can.
What do you mean?
Well, we're already in here. They obviously can control the place.
Well, do some face shit and make him come back.
Can we do that, Blake?
I don't have any connection to the Fae, so I probably couldn't.
Well, I'm not powerful enough for that.
Well, shit, let's just break down some walls, you know? I don't know how any of this works. You guys have to lead the way. We have to find Caelum.
Well, if we keep on moving and we try to stay together, then we'll wind up somewhere eventually. You can't go anywhere by staying in one spot.
How does that help us find Caelum?
Well, Caelum isn't here. We have to be not here as well. Cori just starts walking.
Okay. Yeah, so you start walking down that hallway where you guys had been walking down before you lost Caelum, and you continue walking down, and you can see that it turns a quick right down yet another long stretch of hallway. And looking down, you can't see anything else. You can see more hall, but like there's not like Caelum's not standing in the middle of it just shouting into the aether. Like, this is a completely empty expanse of hallway that stretches out in front of you before switching back again to the left at the end of this hall. And the hall extends for about 40 feet before it swivels again.
All right. I just keep on walking.
All right.
Yes, we're gonna follow.
Yeah.
I'm like gonna touch the walls as we're going, just to make sure they're like actual walls and not magic walls. And like,
Yeah.
not that I know how that works, but I'm assuming like one of them is just gonna be like,
Yeah, you like touching, wrapping your knuckles against it and touching it as you go. You can feel that this is very solid pieces of wood, and as you hit against it, you can hear that echoing sound like you would if you were in the sewers and hit another piece of wood. It seems to be giving off that same kind of auditory response that you would find from any stronger structure deep underground.
like all of the walls are wood.
Yeah, all of the walls are wood, and all of them seem to have been shaped almost like they were grown into that specific that specific shape to allow you guys passage deeper into it.
Okay.
All right, so then you guys go forward again, and this time you see that there is a small chamber in front of you. That these hallways finally open up to a space to allow you guys to actually move a little bit and like spread out more than just being single file this entire time. And it is just like coming into it, there is you see another hallway stretch on the right side of the room, on the left side of the room, and then another one going directly in front of you, as this room seems to be kind of a diverging point depending on where you wanted to go.
Caelum?
I yell loudly. I'm not going to do it on stream, but
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah, so
Yep. At this point, Cori isn't even yelling for Caelum. She's just kind of walking, looking around.
Okay. So as you're walking and moving around, Cori, I would like for you to make another perception check.
All right, that is a 13.
Okay. So with your 13, as you continue walking and your friends are all yelling for Caelum, you hear in your head these words, and the words start by sounding almost like Caelum, but almost like somebody pretending to be him. And then it turns into a voice that you recognize much more clearer. I understand why you left me. I really do. It makes sense that you would leave those that you care about alone in the cold. And you can hear it coming from behind you again, from the pathway that you guys took in.
She's just gonna turn on her heel and look.
And standing before you, you see this blue Eladrin with eyes that just radiate what look to be ice. In the same way where at the bottom of a waterfall on an extremely cold day just sort of has that frosting ice particles releasing into the air. That's what you see coming off of his eyes. You see long blue hair, a shield that's similar to yours, and a sword that looks similar to the sword that you were supposed to get. But it is also just caked in ice. And you can see this glowing ring on his finger. And this figure just smiles at you.
Were my friends there?
Yeah, your friends are there. They're in the same room as you.
All right. Does it look like they can see him?
Did we hear anything?
You guys didn't hear anything. You just saw Cori just turn and stare.
I'll try to follow her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what you guys see is a tall figure. You don't see it as corporeal. Instead, this looks like the outline of a medium-sized man, but it is entirely wreathed in shadow. And this shadow figure begins steadily making its way into the room. And that is when you see it slip down into the ground and then emerge behind Cori, bring up what looks to be a shadowed hand and swipe down against Cori's back. And that's when I would like for you guys to roll initiative.
Fucking do this shit. Super close, guys. Super close.
So I probably rolled something either really high or really low from that mouthing.
Oh, sorry. It was a 21.
Oh, super high.
Damn.
Super high. I got a 3.
Okay.
I got a rock. Sorry. It had to happen eventually.
Always.
I got a 12.
You got a 12?
Yes.
Okay, so first up is the attack that is going off against Cori. So this attack I am guessing a you have advantage.
35 does not hit.
17? 17?
No.
Okay.
Just barely.
So you feel this presence appear behind, like you see, what you see is this blue-haired figure that you know to be this fragment of your past, walks in front of you, and then in the same way that you guys would fight back when you were doing your Caelum training, you see him face step behind you, bring up a sword and try and swing down, and you just bring up your shield to deflect it. Just as you would back when you were training. What the other two of you see is this shadow creature goes to strike out against Cori, and her shield just somehow manages to bat away the shadowed hand that tries to strike against her. So that would put us at the top of the round with Blake. And you...
Do I know what this is?
Yes, you are getting a very strong sense of undead.
Undead.
Yes.
Okay.
Crisscross.
My bow is lit
Okay.
already, right?
Yep.
Okay. I would like to invoke my Blood Maledict. Blood Curse of the Marked.
Okay.
And take a shot with the heavy crossbow that I have activated. Where's my D10? There it is. Cool. Everything's fine. This is all fine.
Everybody's fine. See, the picture I made for you guys fits so well.
If this hits, this is max damage, which is great.
Okay.
Will a 23 hit?
All right. 23 does hit.
Okay, so that's 10 plus 3, so 13 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
4 points of fire damage doubled, so 21 points overall, 8 of which are fire.
Okay. So, gotcha. So,
I don't know why people don't start with their strongest attack.
so you see your crossbow bolt fire, and it just goes through this form and sticks into a wall, and you see this shadowed head turn towar's you.
That's why. That's why they don't start with that.
And Cori, what you see is this blue-haired figure gets a crossbow bolt into its shoulder, and you just see it staring daggers at your friend Blake. And you hear it whisper. You hear this thing speak, but it's speaking directly into your mind, and it says, if you aren't going to leave them alone, I'll make you wish that you had. And then next up is Cori.
Alrighty then. Let's fight. Longsword. Probably not doing well. How does a 12 look?
A 12 is just enough.
Okay. We're gonna do damage, and I'm gonna throw a smite on that.
Okay.
Die, heathen.
Ooh. 5 slashing damage from the sword.
Okay.
And it's d8s for smites, right?
Yes.
I'm still trying to learn how to navigate this. And 6 radiant damage.
Okay.
Actually, 2d8s, right?
Yeah.
7 radiant damage. Sorry.
Okay. So you strike out against this form, and Gwen and Blake, you just see this shadowed figure. As soon as that radiant energy hits it, brings what would be its hands up and just immediately disintegrates. Just completely disappears. And Cori, when you go to slash up against your friend, or your old friend anyways, you see your sword just slice right through him, but you don't see any blood coming out or anything that would belay to you that this form was injured. But instead, it just starts to fade away in front of you until it's no more. And then you guys are left in this room. We didn't even make it through a full round of combat, but you guys done did it.
Radiant energy.
Yeah, turns out paladins are really good against shadows.
Smite fight. Smite fight.
What the fuck was that? That wasn't a thing. That was like a ghost, right? Or was it Fae? I don't know.
It was undead.
It's undead?
Yeah. Well, I know what a shadow is.
Yes, shadows are very low on the tier list in terms of actual undead.
I think it was a shadow. Not like a normal shadow, but like necromancy magic sort of shadow.
Like, so, like, was it... So it wasn't an actual ghost, it was like a made ghost? But not like a made ghost like a zombie is made.
Sort of, yeah. That's the way to look at it. But if there are shadows here, that's not good.
Right. Necromancer, right?
Probably.
Right, but if it's like...
But, I mean, still, we saw... It sounds of Fae here.
Is
Fae
it
and
Fae?
undead.
Cori's going to sheath her sword and turn around, kind of blinking really hard. She's like, "That's not the only problem. It seems that there's some illusion magic going on, so don't trust anything you see."
Illusion?
Yes, I saw an old friend. I didn't see a shadow.
Oh.
Are you okay?
Everything's fine.
Like, I'm gonna pat Blake's thigh, and I'm like, I'm just, and I turn around like to give them privacy. But I'm just gonna turn around and just like not be part of the conversation that's about to happen.
Okay. And this is where we're going to cut over to Caelum.
But everything wasn't fine.
Yes. The narrator. It wasn't.
You just have to pretend like you're fine, and everything's not fine.
So yeah, Caelum, you are currently wandering down this hallway by yourself, having heard the sounds of your past echoing into your brain as well. But as if without any kind of reason that you can gather, you actually feel the area around you start to quiver a little bit and then stabilize. As you see that it looks like one of the hallways in front of you is starting to close, but then had to reform and force itself back open.
Gonna quickly sprint that way.
Okay. So yeah, you sprint forward, and right as you get through this area that seems to be shaking, it just closes off behind you, and you are currently standing in a large square room that has no discernible doors or exits, so I don't get the other three party members' hopes up that you guys just stumbled back onto each other. But instead, the room that you are in stretches forward quite a decent bit. It looks like this room is about 45 feet long, and you can see on your left that there is what looks like a mix of webs and that same kind of bubblish foam has just sort of like splattered across the ground, where there is another one that goes up about 3 foot high, that is just this collection of these bubbles and and these webs, not necessarily spider webs, but just webs. And turning around, you can't see the exit that you ran to, or the tunnel that you ran through, as you had tried to rush in there before it closed up.
What does Gwen say in like situations like these? Fuck.
My baby boy.
He's growing up. So yeah, you are currently looking in this room, and this seems like these collections of saliva bubbles and webbing has what looks to be like these boards that have been making these tunnels that you go through. The boards underneath these are kind of interlaced to look almost like a nest of sorts.
Nope. Just gonna just try and skirt around it to like the other side of the room to see if there's anything over there.
You do not see anything else over there. It seems like this room is fairly barren, except for this opened what looks like a destroyed one, and then a whole one of just this combination of bubbles and foam, or of foaming bubbles and web.
Yeah, he's gonna put his back to a wall, put his shield in front of him, squat down, and just like wait and think this out, because yeah, he's alone.
He is very alone right now. And that is when we were going to cut back to our other group, as Caelum has kind of just like sidled himself up against a wall, God knows where.
It's okay, I have enough rations for... Oh, I left my pack in the inn.
What is wrong with you? Children. Come on.
No.
All right, so Blake and Cori, you guys are standing in this room. Gwen has turned around to give you some time to talk to each other.
What did you see?
I saw an old friend, the one I was telling you about, and I fought him and I killed him. But it obviously wasn't him, so everything's fine.
All right.
I kick Blake.
So we should get moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Good talk, Blake. And as I walk past him, I punch him in the thigh.
All right.
All right. So which way do we go? Intelligent one.
That way,
Are you just pointing somewhere?
pretty much.
All right. Is it weird to anyone else that we are in a fucking tunnel made of wood? That's weird, right? Or is this like more Fae shit?
I mean, wood, plants, stone, they're all about the same.
I mean, no, like, right?
I mean, in Fae terms.
Okay. All right, so let's think in Fae terms and figure out. So if we go the way we think we should go, then we end up where we don't want to be. So let's go the way we shouldn't go, and then we'll go where we need to be.
Where shouldn't we go?
Back the way we came.
We tried that.
Right. Shit. Okay. Well, you said that way, right? What way do you want to go, Cori?
That way. She just points arbitrary.
Mm-hmm. All right, and I say that way, and I point to a different one. So we should go that way, and I point to the last one that was left.
Okay.
And that is the one we're gonna choose. Well, that's what Gwen's gonna choose, and she's gonna start marching.
It sounds reasonable to me.
We're all gonna die.
When you take away logic, everything makes more sense.
All right. So you guys are marching off into the direction that you feel is the worst possible choice, therefore the best possible choice. And our dear friend Caelum is currently alone in a room with a small bundle of God knows what. But this is where we are going to take our first break of the evening.
Yeah.
Woo! So I want to say thank you to everybody who has stopped by. This has been the show with the best turnout that we've had. So thank you to every single one of you guys that has decided to stop by and give encouraging words in chat, as well as proceed to further terrify our players, as I love it. I love all of this. So don't go anywhere. There's going to be a good 5-10 minutes of break time, and then we will be back, hopefully in the same places that we were before. So don't go no place, and we shall see you guys shortly. All right, everybody.
I'm gonna put on a black shirt because I feel left out.
Hello, once again, dear friends, for the return of our finale of the Discovery arc. Last we left off, Caelum was stranded and alone and very scared inside a chamber, inside of this Fae sewer that the party seems to have found themselves inside of. Our other 3 party members decided that they were going to adventure farther into this Fae sewer to find out whether or not they could actually find their friend, or at least find the exit or the creature that they are hunting. They are looking for one of those 3 things. And also, I would like to say, before we begin, a reminder that September, not Septober, I got that mixed up because last year it's extended for 2 months. But September, if you have received a gift subscription on the channel, you can renew that gift subscription for $1 this month, which is pretty snazzy. It only costs you $1, but then we end up getting the entirety of whatever that sub was, whether it's through Amazon, whether it's through Twitch Prime, or your own kindness and generosity. So thank you to everyone who has resubscribed. Thank you to everybody who has given out gift subscriptions and been awesome to this channel. And of course, follows are great. I like follows because then that means that you know when we do stuff, which is a lot, surprisingly. So you come by. It's a pretty good time. But that being said, let us get back to the meat and potatoes, as it were, of this game, which is 3 adventurers together looking for their one friend who is currently missing. And you guys continue, and you guys are all going down the hallway where you thought that you didn't want to go, correct? All right. Yeah, so you all go down this hallway. And as you go, you see that it ends up curving off to the left. And you follow it again, and then you kind of feel it just more wrapping around you. And then you find yourself actually at the starting chamber where you initially entered in to this sewer, where there is a pathway leading slightly off to the left. And then you can see another pathway veering off to the right that has that kind of foam off in the top. And you also see that there is a crossbow bolt sticking into the wall not 2 feet away from where that opening is. Almost as if after Blake had shot the wall, it continued to grow out and just shift the bolt over.
I'll just take that back.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to yell again for Caelum.
Okay. And
Do I
you
hear anything
hear you hear your voice echo through the chamber. Just Caelum, 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 Caelum. But you don't get any response.
So this shifting sewer thing we're in, right? Is it Faye, or is somebody controlling it?
Almost certainly both. Well, okay, whatever's controlling it is probably Faye, and through controlling it, this has become Faye?
Is it
I'm just
actually
spitballing
like an
here.
right? Is it like an actual like, oh, they walked into this room and then I'm gonna fuck with that, or like is it an automatic thing? Like when your lease rolls over. Something Gwen knows about.
I mean,
Elise.
Shit.
who can really know?
What if we burn it to the ground, or burn it in the ground?
We'll see. I shot it with a flaming crossbow. Nothing seemed to make a mark.
Did it not leave a mark?
No, it seemed that once the flame had sunk into the wood itself is still so damp and wet that there wasn't really much for it to ignite.
Okay, I'm gonna hit it with my axe.
Okay, make an attack roll.
And my axe. Okay. Okay. That's a 16, 17.
Okay. So yeah, you sink your axe deep into the side wall of this wood, and when you bring the axe back out, you can actually see the wood kind of like quiver a little bit and then steadily begin reforming onto itself.
I don't like this place. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to get Caleb and I want to get the fuck out of here. Like I said we should do yesterday. Just saying.
Well, I think we're going to have to kill whatever is causing all of this. And it will probably all go back to normal.
Right. It's wait, is it undead or it's a necromancer, right? It's a fey necromancer? Is that what we've come to the conclusion of?
Look at Blake.
I mean, Faye, most definitely.
Right.
But the shadow was concerning.
Right. But Cori got it, and that's fine. And so we know we can handle ourselves, and we need to, push forward so we can find Caelum and get the fuck out, okay?
Right.
Right. So Blake, and I kind of step up right to him, like right underneath him, like I'm talking down to him, but I'm obviously a lot shorter than him. Not talking down to, but like
Talking up to.
yeah, exactly. All right, look. This is your house. This is your territory, right? Get the fuck in there and tell them what's up. Hunt this thing down so that we can get out of here, okay? You are the shit, okay? I don't want to see any pouty faces. I don't want to see any whimpering. I want you to go up there, hunt this shit. We're going to kill it, okay?
All right.
Cool.
And I would very much like to track this, whatever it is, down if there's any sort of thing that I can follow.
Yeah, so there's still that like foam that you saw, those foaming bubbles just kind of up on the roof. And now that you know what you kind of need to pay attention to, you start following that. And this extends down the hallway that you guys were initially going to be taking. And you go down this hallway for about 60 feet, and then you make another right turn, or another left turn, sorry. And as you go down this left turn, you end up seeing that there is another quick turn to the left in front of you. And going up to that and peeking around the corner, you can see that this is the same room where you had fought the shadow.
Does it look like it, or?
Yeah, this looks like the same exact room, and you can see that your crossbow bolt is still in the wall.
Let me just take that back. Cool.
Cori, I would like for you to make a perception check.
Is that a 7 or a 1? Oh, it's a 7. Okay, so 9.
Okay. So with your 9, the entire time that you've been down here, you have felt this cold feeling just constantly on you, and it has just felt oppressive while you've been here. And even your interaction with the shadow after clearing that, there still wasn't this alleviation that you were expecting there to be. But then you start to feel a bit of warmth, and you feel that warmth originating from your holy symbol.
Oh.
And your holy symbol, you wear it on your neck. Yeah. So you just
we'll say a necklace under,
just under the armor.
Yeah.
So you can actually feel that warming against your chest, and you can kind of feel that warmth in you, but it seems to be focused on one portion of your body. And as you turn to look at your friends, you can feel that warmth still stay in the same place. So where it was starting out on your shoulder, you start feeling it or where it started in your chest, as you turn, you feel it in your right shoulder. And it seems to be warmer towards facing one of the hallways in this room with the 4 intersecting halls.
Huh. Like she's just... Huh. Interesting.
Are you okay?
I'm having a religious breakthrough here. She's gonna start feeling for any warm spots, anywhere that doesn't necessarily point towards Gwen or Blake.
Okay. Yeah, so you start feeling out these warm spots until you are standing in front of the hallway where, if you were looking at it on a map, would be the northernmost passage. But for you, from when you guys entered into the room, this would be the rightmost passage. And you get a strong sense of warmth coming from there.
I'm gonna go there.
Okay. So yeah, you start following after this warmth, and Gwen and Blake, you guys see Cori just like having this religious breakthrough, and then just starts walking down, like walking towards a corridor.
Don't let her get far, because we're gonna get lost without her. All right.
She's just power walking in a particular direction with her elbows out, like, and then like every now and then like turns, you know,
Yeah.
just kind of feeling it out.
I'm trying to keep up.
So I can feel it in one elbow. If I turn it, I can get a sense of which direction we're supposed to get, left, right.
Is that how this usually works?
I don't know.
I'm gonna like kind of whisper to Blake or at Blake. Is this like Fae shit or like?
I mean, usually we don't get help from Corlon usually at all.
Oh, it's like God shit. Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Cool. Praise be Corlon. Let's go.
Praise be whatever his name was. Anyway.
Yay, Lando Calrissian. Let's go.
So yeah, you guys start walking by. Corlon also loves capes. Who would have thought? But yeah, you guys start progressing, following this kind of warm GPS, as chat has pointed out. That seems to be emanating from your holy symbol. And Blake, also following with Cori, you start seeing that there are more of these kind of foamy deposits on the ceiling as well. And you guys continue on for what feels like 5 minutes of just these winding corridors that eventually lead you to another split or another T in the road or a Y or another four-way pass. But each time, Cori is able to just navigate you towards further down until eventually, in front of you, you just see that there is this giant wall of this foam material in front of you, and you see that it's steadily moving outward, and as it progresses outward, you see that there is more of this wooden cave that sort of seems to be growing where this foam is also going.
Is this weird? I'm not sure anymore. I feel like this is weird. No?
Poke it with a sword?
Okay.
I strike it with my axe.
Okay.
I stand back.
Yeah, so Cori goes to gently poke at it with a sword, and then right as you come into contact with it, Gwen just rushes up and just slashes at it with her axe. And when you do slash at it with the axe, you actually feel the entire chamber that you're in start to shudder a little bit. And you see the foam stops and kind of like recoils, and then steadily forms its way back to a solid wall and continues to just sort of go out. And Caelum, from where you're at as well, you also feel the walls kind of shake around you.
You're muted.
That's perfect for what you guys are hearing.
Yeah, right?
Oh, he like looks up, turns like, what, why, what, why?
And you see that on this like this massed form of bubbles and webs that you have been looking at, some of those bubbles actually start to fall off of this lumped form, and you can see what looks to be this kind of like a mix of gray and yellow, just sort of like peeling, like revealing itself from inside where all of this foam was.
I look down at my shield and I go, I'm gonna die, aren't I?
It's no response. And so then we'll move back to the three of you as Caelum just sees these bubbles start falling off of this form.
Hey, it quivered in fear, so I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will strike it again.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
Uh, 16.
Okay. So yeah, with your 16, you slice into it again, and you feel just the area around you start to shake again, just with the force that is being dealt onto this onto this large array of foam and bubble. And Caelum, in your chamber, you see that more and more of these bubbles are starting to fade away, and you can kind of see what looks to be the top half of a face with an eye closed. And you can make a history check.
I don't want to. I want to go away. I don't want to be here. History. I think I get that double. Let's see. For 18.
Okay. You actually recognize part of this face as a deep gnome that had narrowly escaped your clutches not a day before.
It's you! The cheese!
And he just, eyes closed, unconscious, and you can see that his skin is starting to turn this sickly yellow color.
Do I do the right thing? Oh god, I gotta do the right thing. Yeah. Caelum just like runs over and he like goes to his belt and pulls out a knife and just starts like hacking away at the foam and webbing.
Okay. Yeah, so as you are hacking away at this foam and webbing, we're cutting back to the other group as you guys continue just hacking away on this large wall of foam and bubble.
I would like to shout profanity at it.
Okay. Make an intimidation check.
Oh.
Does it seem to be reacting in a progressive way?
It seems to be reacting.
9.
Yeah, so you yell at this wall and it doesn't seem to budge or shake any more than you directly attacking it.
Cool. Makes me feel better, though.
Yeah.
Does my divine sense give me any sort of idea as to whether or not it's like is it undead or fey?
You would get a sense that this wall is fey in nature.
Okay. All right. I help stab.
Okay. All right, so you guys are both stabbing out at this wall, so I'd like for you to both make attacks.
It's fun.
Does what they're doing seem to be affecting the wall more than my crossbow did?
Yes, because when you had shot the wall previous, you had shot into the wood wall, but they are directly attacking this sheet of bubble mass that seems to be in front of them.
Take a shot.
All right, so roll for damage, or roll to hit. All right, 18. So yeah, you sink in. Your crossbow bolt sinks into the wall as well, and you just hear this kind of sizzling noise as the red flared tip just starts sizzling against the bubbles, and you can see that it really retracts as the fire hits against it. But I have a very delicate question for you, Blake. What is your AC? And does a 17 hit?
17 does hit.
All right, I am going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Do you get saves against Do you get advantage or anything?
6.
Okay. So you take 9 damage as you feel your body tense up, and you are now paralyzed. And looking up at the creature before your paralyzation fully sets in, you see this
No.
Oh.
mandibled,
Wow.
pincered creature with this large chittering mouth that as it claws out against you and paralyzes you, you hear in your brain, shh, as you just fall to the ground paralyzed.
To be struck by you, gotta make you move. Sorry.
All right, so I'd like for you guys to roll initiative.
Everybody?
He's been struck by
Yes,
smooth criminal.
because you have things that you're doing on your turn as well.
Yeah. Actually, you rolled really well for initiative this time around.
Ten.
Okay.
22.
Say 22.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
It'd be really useful for a paralyzed man.
Yep.
18.
Okay.
Shit, I can't reach the D20 anymore.
6.
Okay.
You're not paralyzed. Your character's paralyzed.
Shh, I'm a method actor.
Well, do you
I'm
want
just over
anybody?
here
So,
slicing up this wall.
Yeah,
I have
really
no
got
idea
it.
what's going on.
yeah, you fall to the ground as the paralyzation takes hold. But since you are going first in this initiative round, you actually get a chance to save out of it.
Is it Constitution?
Yes.
10.
You are still paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it for your turn. Next up is Caelum. And Caelum, you are currently inside of this small room that has just been shuddering nonstop for what it seems like the last minute or so. And as you have more and more of these bubbles have fallen off, what you assume to be the form of Curdle. But as you continue scraping away these bubbles, you see that his mouth has began to stretch open and teeth have begun to go upwards and turn into these chitters on his face. And you can see that there are spines kind of growing out of his arm, but he remains completely unconscious.
You know, it was like a frenzied, like, hack, and it's just slow. Oh. Backing away.
And you can just see this, like, his hand is, like, it went from having, like, full 5 fingers to where they've slightly, like, Vulcan formed, where it's just 2 and 2 with a large separator, but you can see that they're kind of crusting over and turning into claws.
Can I make a knowledge check?
Yes.
Nature? Arcana?
Yeah, this would be an Arcana check.
Okay, I'm good at these. I'm very good at these. 19, 25.
You would recognize this to be how, almost in the way that a caterpillar, when it changes from a caterpillar into a butterfly, has to go through some sort of has to go through some sort of change to affect their body over a much more gradual period of time. Like, this isn't a lycanthropic thing. This is very much something has encased Curdle in all of these webs and foamy bubbles, and is trying to turn him into something like itself.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep using my action, try to cut him out, and hope it helps.
Okay, make a dexterity check as you go to continue, to see how much stabbing you get in.
5.
Okay. So you're, like, as soon as you kind of take note as to what's happening, your hand falters just enough that when you bring your blade down, it actually gets caught up in a lot of the webs and bubbles that are on his form. And it's basically like you just did an emergency C-section on this bubbled form as his body just sort of spills out onto the ground.
No,
And
okay.
all of these bubbles have just started to pop and then turn to a kind of liquid onto the ground surrounding Curdle, who you can see was like over halfway through this transformation, but he's not waking up. And what's your passive perception?
Oh, I think that's actually decent. Sorry. Where is it on this sheet? On D&D Beyond. Passive perception is 15.
All right, so with a 15, you do not see the rise and fall on his back that would denote that he is breathing at all.
Ooh, I think he's dead. Oh no. Okay.
The gang fights a monster, and Caelum's alone with a dead man.
Did I kill him? Did I murder another man? Like, I've been killing a lot of people recently, and it's not my fault. Well, like 2 of them were my fault, but you believe me, right, Shield?
And the shield just stays silent during this.
Oh no.
So, next up in the initiative order is our dear friend Gwen. Make a perception check.
Yeah. It's a weird roll. Perception +2, 13.
Okay. Yeah, so you definitely hear a boom as your 6'5+ dragonborn friend has fallen onto the ground behind you after his body had been locked up with paralyzation. And that's when you see this chittering form that looks directly at you. And I actually need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
No, I'm not very wise.
As this sense of fear just emanates off of its body.
Okay. Is he trying to fear me?
Yes.
Because as a little thing, I am brave and I have advantage on saving throws against being frightened.
Nice.
I was just looking at that. I was like, ooh.
Half-wing!
Yeah.
That's very useful.
What'd you get?
1 twice.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Oh. That's a 0.255% chance of happening. You beat the odds.
Okay.
no.
Well,
See, I did that earlier.
no.
yeah, you definitely feel a wave of fear come over you, so now you have the fear condition. So you can attack against this thing, I believe.
I just can't move closer
You
to him,
cannot
right?
move closer, and let's look at what exactly fear does. Toss that out onto the table so that
Throw
way
shit at it. Come on.
we are all in the same page going forward. Because that is one of the things that I am actually very bad at remembering.
You project. Okay, let's see.
So,
While frightened by a spell, a creature must take the dash action and move away from you.
yeah, this is not a spell, though.
Oh, okay.
So you are frightened, which means that you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of fear is within the line of sight, and you can't willingly move closer to the source of the fear.
Okay.
The fear.
Fear.
I am afraid of this thing, but does he have his eyes on me? Or is he going to go after Caelum? Or after Blake?
He does not seem currently concerned with Blake, but you see it just kind of looking and scanning the two of you.
Okay. I'm gonna... Hey, asshole! Cori?
What?
And I'm going to, I would like to rage.
Okay.
Rah!
Is
Tiny
that
rage!
Overwrite the fear condition?
I believe so, because when you are raging, I think you are incapable of fear. But you hear in your head as you start to rage, there's nowhere here that you could run that I wouldn't be able to find you.
Good, because I'm not that fast! All right, so I am not feared anymore. by rage?
Uh,
I don't know if that's actually.
so barbarian.
Yeah, it's not saying that one.
Rage. You have advantage.
Paparino.
In my player's handbook.
That your Paparino gave you.
Gnome. Fucking gnomes.
You yell.
Oh, that would be Path of the Berserker, a level 6 ability.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just got it out, so.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
So, I do have a couple hand axes, so I will. Is he within 20 feet of me?
Yes, he is currently standing about 10 feet away from you.
All right, I will throw one of my hand axes at him.
Okay.
That's 18.
18 totally hits.
Okay, and that would be 7 damage.
Oof. Okay. Yeah, so he takes that, this creature takes that 7 damage, and you just see it look at you with just these daggers for eyes as you just hear this. As its chittering mouth just sort of keeps clicking together.
Can I see, is Blake breathing?
Yeah, he is currently breathing, but he is just lying on the ground like he would have been standing, like hands still on crossbow, but just lying on ground.
Skyrim paralysis spell. Got it.
Exactly.
Got it. All right, cool. That's my turn, because I can't move closer to it.
Okay, so next up is Cori, as you have a higher dexterity, I believe, than this creature.
What is with me and rolling the same as everybody else? This is frightening. Okay.
Yeah.
I turn around and finally realize what's happening. Oh! And
also,
I'm going
you
to...
need to make a you also need to make a wisdom save.
Rats.
You saw it, therefore you fear.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Wisdom save.
Yeah.
Proficient in that, at least. 11?
You are not afraid. You just make it out of the fear.
You're not afraid.
Brave, strong paladin. Is it within? Is it close enough? Is it up?
It's about
up,
10 feet
right?
away from you.
Okay, I will approach it and attack it with my sword.
Okay.
That is going to be a 16.
Okay. 16 does hit. Roll for damage.
All right, I'm gonna drop a smite on this as well, and I think that's my last one for the day. I only have 1d8. Okay, there's the other one. All right, sword first.
Okay.
5 slashing damage
Okay.
and 13 radiant damage.
Oof. Yeah, this
Take
thing
that.
just like recoils back after you hit it. And it is going to attempt to claw out at you in an attempt to hopefully paralyze you with the same ability that it did our dear boy Blake. And it got a crit to hit against you.
Shoot.
I was gonna
Oh
say
no!
I would like to make that an 11.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have said that
No,
before
that
you.
is A-okay. You were paralyzed and being very method. So, yes. So Blake, even though you're paralyzed, your mind goes back to the pattern that was on the stones this morning from the chalice that you had received. And you know through your blood hunter rituals that you've performed that there is a lot to be said with divination magic, and that this number that you received, while better than, or this reading that you had received was better than average, it still wasn't exceptional. So yeah, you caused it to roll an 11 instead of the previously mentioned 20. And it is then going to look at you, Cori, and just says into your mind, "We're not finished. and then it disappears from you and reappears about 30 feet behind where you are, back down the corridor. And then begins to move another its movement down the hallway that you see, and you can see that it's at the end of the hallway now, about to turn down another stretch. So next up in the initiative order is going to be Blake.
Constitution?
Yes.
16.
16 passes. You are no longer paralyzed, but that check was at the end of your turn.
Yep.
Yeah, so you are no longer paralyzed. Then next up is Caelum. And you just see this creature, this half-baked creature in front of you just starts shifting and moving, and you can see that its arms and hands are starting to move. And one of its claws comes forward towards you on the ground, and it just begins steadily crawling towards you, looking up with these still humanoid eyes, but maw of just this weird chittering. And you hear these words of just help me as it's just crawling towards you, trying to come towards you. And it is your turn.
You can stay right there. I don't mean to judge, but okay, you stay right there. I point my spear.
Okay.
We'll think of something. Just, oh my god.
And you can just see that it's like crawling through this goop that's on the floor from the like chrysalis that it was in, having broken out. All right, so then next up is Gwen.
There's a lot of nope going on this session. I have to wait till the end of my turn to take off the fear, right?
Yes.
Okay. I will still throw a hand axe because I have 3. Let me double check that. I have 3. Okay. And then yeah, that's that's gonna be my turn.
Okay, was a 3, and then you have a
No. I have 3 hand
Oh,
axes,
okay.
is what I'm saying. So I
Okay,
can throw
got
another one and still have 1.
Got it.
Yeah. You're such a tease, little dice. That's a 10 to hit.
10 does not hit, so your axe sails past it and just lands next to this creature.
Okay. So I will make a Constitution at advantage because I'm cool.
It's a wisdom save for the fear.
It's a wisdom at advantage because I'm cool. Jesus Christ. That's 17.
Okay, 17 saves out of the fear, so you are no longer afraid of this creature that has quickly retreated from you guys after trying to paralyze your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Cori and the creature. Cori, you can still go first.
How fast is this thing getting away?
He teleported 60 feet and then moved, or he teleported 30, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Teleported 30 feet and then moved another 30 feet. You can still see him, but he is currently 60 feet away from where you are.
All right. Face step is a bonus action, correct?
Yes.
Well then, I can do that too, bitch. I'm going to face step after him, and then sprint the remaining. He's 60 feet away. Yes.
Yeah, he is currently 60
Okay,
feet
sorry.
from where you are.
Making sure my artist math is working out. Okay. Teleport, run, give him a good old stab in the back.
Okay.
You hurt my friends. You can't do that. Okay, it's a 2. Never mind.
Okay. And
Apparently you can.
it then will disengage from you and try and continue and just leave from where you are. And he is currently going he has rounded the corner, so only you currently have a line of sight with him, but you see that he's just quickly scuttling away through the darkness in an attempt.
Stop running, you coward!
Yeah. Okay. So that was its turn, your turn, and then back to the top with Blake.
Am I on the ground?
You are on the ground, having fallen over from being paralyzed.
Um, Half movement to get up. See where it went.
Yeah, you see Cori has ran down the path after it, and with every blow that you guys have struck against this creature, you see that that this bubbled foam is actually getting thinner and thinner to the point. It's like lowering the opacity slider in Photoshop, where you can start seeing through it. And you guys can actually start seeing through this film to Caelum kind of like pressed up against a wall with this other thing crawling towards him.
Do I get the sense that if I shoot the bubble foam again, I'll be able to get through?
Make a intelligence check with your Blood Hunter ability.
11.
So from what you've seen previously, attacking this foam is causing the surrounding area to shudder, but it didn't look like it was necessarily giving way on your guys' attacks as much as it was just sort of halting its progress in being created. However, it looks like the damage that you're dealing on this strange fey creature is actually what's causing the that bubble foam to give way to your friend's location.
Okay. So I use half movement to get up. I would like to use my action to dash and get 45 feet in the direction that it went.
Okay.
And for my bonus action, my crossbow went dark whenever I fell.
If you're paralyzed, the ability wears off. Because
if I drop the weapon.
Yeah, since you were paralyzed and had it loaded, you would have been holding on to the weapon the entire time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you didn't drop any of the gear that you had. You simply just went, huh, and then tilted over.
Cool. Okay, so no change then.
Okay. Sounds good. So next up is Gwen. Wait, Blake, Caelum, it is your turn, and you still have this thing kind of crawling towards you. And looking off to the side, you can see that the wood wall that had sort of grown together behind you as you entered into this chamber is starting to become almost see-through. And from the other side, you can actually see your friends.
Guys! Blake? Leaves. Okay. I turn back.
Please. It's just crawling after you.
Be a good person. He will carefully walk up and just like, okay, it'll be fine. We're gonna get you help.
You're just going up near it?
I'm gonna go up near him.
Okay.
Gingerly reaching out a hand.
It goes to kind of like grab out at your leg as you come near, but his hand just sort of like grips on and can't form enough strength to actually like clamp onto your leg or anything like that.
Do I perceive this as threatening, or is he just
make an insight check?
Okay. Oh hey, I am okay at this. Wow. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, you would sense that this is maybe not his intent for it to be harming, but you feel like there's more at work here than this thing that is no longer breathing but is still coming after you.
Okay, I'm just gonna knock you out now, so make you easier to transport, and I'm gonna raise my shield and just like, thunk,
Okay.
thunk, thunk.
Make an attack roll.
Natural 20. What am I doing with this?
Okay, so a shield is an improvised weapon, so you're going to roll a d4, but because you got a crit, you roll 2d4, and then you are going to be adding your strength after this.
Twice or just once?
Just add once for the strength.
6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Yeah, so you, if anybody is looking through this foam at Caelum, you just see him, like, look over this thing. And it just, you see its arms just go down and it stops moving.
Okay.
Okay, so then next up is Gwen.
So did I hear Caelum?
You heard Caelum, but he sounds very, very, very far off.
Okay. Can I determine direction? I mean.
Make a perception check.
Oh. Okay. 10.
Okay, so with your 10, you can, like, looking at this foam and seeing through it, you can see him, and that's,
Okay.
It sounds like his audio is just getting muffled as soon as it hits the foam, and then is barely able to pass through.
Okay, so.
Muffled. Thunk, thunk.
Caelum! Are you alright?
No! I'm not!
Guys, don't run off! What are you doing? I'm gonna stay with Caelum because I have no idea what Fey magic is. Also, I don't want him to be by himself again. So I'm gonna try and rage through this wall.
Okay, make an attack roll.
I will! Which dice do I want to use? There we go. 14.
All right, so with your 14, you slice into this foam bubble again, and you feel it give way, and the hallway begins to shudder. Cori, watching this creature try and run away from you, when the hallway shudders, it actually, like, trips a little bit, and doesn't seem to really maintain its. It can't really maintain its footing well when the world around it is shaking.
Okay.
But
I
yeah.
attack it again.
Okay.
Offhand. That's an 11.
Okay. Yeah, with your 11 as well, you, Cori, actually see that this creature actually slides, like, slips and falls to the ground as the chamber keeps shaking.
Mm-hmm.
But Gwen, you are just trying your hardest, and this bubble film is not lighting up.
I'm just gonna yell at Caelum to use magic! Do magic things! Get over here!
Okay, so next up is Cori.
All right. Cori's gonna yell over her shoulder, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it!" And then she's going to, if she can reach him, she's gonna run up to the creature and attack it.
Yeah, he was only able to move 30 feet away from where you were because he had to use his action to disengage.
All right, I keep going.
Okay.
Link, sword down, move. This one. You
Okay.
know the one. It's a 3. I'm not. Yeah, 7 probably doesn't hit, does it?
No, 7 does not hit. Do you have an offhand attack?
No, I've got a shield.
Okay.
Was it prone?
Yeah, it
From-
was. Oh, yeah, it was prone, so you would have advantage on your
shoot.
strike. Good call.
Shoot! Don't fail me now, dice. Come on, you're getting a second chance here. Okay, that's not bad. 16.
16 does hit.
All right, no more smites for the day, but here comes sword damage. Let's see, what do I even add to this? It's like 4. Okay, 5 damage.
Okay. How are you putting an end to this nightmare creature?
Oh shoot! Okay.
Woo!
So it was running away from me when it
Yes.
tripped, right?
Yes.
I imagine she just like she missed the first time, so she jumped and came down with the sword, and it was gonna go right into the back of the neck, but that missed, and she was like, and then she just slashed it to the side from where it was and takes the head off.
Mm-hmm. And as this thing's head comes spinning off, all of you start feeling just this intense shaking, as it seems like the area around you doesn't know how to maintain itself without the power from this creature being given to it. And you start hearing moaning and creaking as these boards just start closing in on themselves. The layer of foam that was separating Caelum from you guys has been separated. But you can see that a lot of what is going on right now is just these boards kind of forming back onto themselves the way that they were meant to be in the sewer and not necessarily in this Fey structure. So this is very much a time to, as much as it is a time of celebration, it is also a time to leave.
Grab Curdle and Amscray.
Okay. So yeah, Caelum just grabs this weird half-baked body and just starts dragging him with.
Dude.
Make a perception check as Caelum drags him by.
Can we keep him?
No! What's wrong with you? Perception is +2, 19.
All right, so you would also recognize this form to be the deep gnome that once was Curdle.
What happened to Curdle?
Can't explain now. We'll explain later. Help me drag him.
Okay. I grab it, and then I feel hard shell on him, and I'm like, no, just leave it behind, Caleb. Just leave it behind.
Good people, Gwen.
He is not good.
I mean, we are good people.
Fine. Keep your pet. Let's just go. Da-da. And I literally hold on to his belt as we walk so that he cannot get away.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys start feeling just these boards caving in, and as you look behind you, as you're walking very briskly forward, you can see that it's almost like that they are mending themselves, like the world itself is mending behind you guys, as these boards just seem to fall back into place rather than being these strange maw-like openings. They reform to look like regular boards, but it seems like this back wall is just coming at you guys to the point where eventually, as you're running, it looks like it's right up against you. So I would like for Caelum and Gwen to make athletics checks as you guys continue running.
Okay.
As Blake and Cori are in the front and have been progressing outward, so it's just these two back.
I'm gonna, now's a good time as ever. I'm gonna give myself proficiency with my channel divinity on athletics.
Okay, seems like a good time.
I'm just gonna mention as we go for them to grab the body of the thing, or proof.
Oh, I'm taking the head.
Okay.
Definitely.
I rolled
Athletics, 17.
19.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys continue forward, and as you do, you see that the wall actually slightly tilts and then pushes against your back as if it is forcing you out of the space, and you guys just start riding it almost like it's a wave at the beach, and you are all just kind of sent careening forward down these long halls while riding on the back or riding on the front of this wooden surface until eventually, after what feels like a minute, 2 minutes, it comes to a sudden and abrupt halt, and you guys come tumbling out of the cave mouth that you had walked into previously, and you can see that these boards are again just putting themselves back into place. As these two guards just, what the hell? As you four have just been thrown out of this cave. And you see that the sleepy one is just, that's a hell of a way to wake up. What? And he looks, and there's like the maw that they have been guarding for, you guys aren't really sure, is no longer there. And you see the other guard just, does this have to do with your crossbow being on fire? Oh, what the fuck? And like he gets like really like, okay, when you like show him this creature's head, and just, and he's like kind of freaking out, and then the tired one, oh shit, that's Curdle. Like, just like casually points at this like half creature.
All right. I'm going to get down, now that we're safe, I'm going to get down to Curdle's level, and I'm just be like, Guys, is this like a thing we can heal, or is this like a...
Oh, that's like way beyond me. I think we can take him to like a temple or something, and they can help him out.
We need to get Skyvix.
Yes, I also agree that we should probably inform the guard captain that the hole in the wall is no longer a hole, but just a wall. Not only did you stop that, but you also caught one of Shroudport's most wanted. I think that's him.
Cori's just like beaming from ear to ear.
Yeah, why don't you,
Go.
what?
Yeah, you guys should come with me. We don't really have anything to guard anymore, seeing as how the whole cave mouth's gone. So,
I'm gonna pull out some rope and just tie Curdle's arms up, just like.
okay.
Yeah.
Just unconscious body, and they're like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
He
That's
tried
right.
to clamp on my leg earlier.
Oh,
and
gross. What
Yeah.
the fuck happened to him?
Never mind
Nice.
him. Caelum, what happened to you? You were gone. Are you okay? Did someone hurt you?
Physically or mentally?
Either.
Both.
No, I'm fine.
I
I-
like try to stare him in the eyes and insight check him without actually insight checking.
No, seriously. I guess I just got lost. That's all.
You stay within eyesight of me at all times, okay?
Oh, okay. Just
Good. Now let's go.
Yeah,
And I turn and go.
And these guards are walking you guys through the sewers, and they finally lead you back up to the city. And it's actually it's towards evening now. Like, you guys kind of lost track of time, and it didn't really feel like you were there for that long. But it seems like your descent and then your return was actually a lot longer than you were thinking. And you make your way back up, and it seems like a relatively cloudless night, and there's a mild bit of celebration happening in the market district, and you can see that there's a man just sort of like juggling blades with his hat up, and he just seems to be busking. And it seems like it's just a generally positive attitude. And when you guys get to the surface, the guards say, you see like the more composed one just, all right, so I have a burlap sack. We could probably put that horrific face thing head into the bag. And then
I just do the clasp of my cloak and I throw it over Curdle.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Saves me from having to pull out another bag. So if you all can follow me, and you guys then make your way through the city, and people aren't taking notice of you this time. Whereas before, when you were being led through as possible suspects in a much larger crime, and you had a lot of the ire of the Shroudport people, they don't seem to be really paying much attention to you. You just sort of seem to be average citizens at this point. Like, you are being escorted by guards, but none of you are within chains, and one of you has a large sack with some blood coming out of it, and you can see, like, there's one kid where his eyes get really wide and he points at it, and his parent looks at it and then like covers kid's eyes and moves them away. It's kind of like, don't look, son. And like, they don't seem to be really, they seem to be shuffling out of the way, giving you guys a respectful berth. And you make your way all the way to the topmost guard station. And by that point, you can see that there is a sunset fading off in the distance, or at least the start of one. And they say, all right, well, you probably want to talk to Skavix, give him the breakdown as to what you saw. I believe that these things should be probably enough to, show that you did the job. The cave's not there, so I don't really know what he wants to do if he's like, no, you didn't do the job. He's a pretty reasonable guy if you talk to him, right? So, yeah, just do you guys want to talk to him some more, let him know, or are you good with just these being evidence of a job done? And he like raises a little clawed curdle hand, and then holds up bag.
I'm good.
Yeah. Just mentioned that it was face stuff and that he probably needs help.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about this guy. We will figure it out. That's what Shroudport is known for. Our innovation and
Figure it
who am I
out.
kidding? I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do with this guy. I really don't. Like, this is just
I mean, I was saying put him out of his misery, so that
Honestly-
you guys are all very much.
he looks like he eats babies.
That's what I was thinking.
We'll let
That's what I
Skavix and the
Skavix can kill his own criminals for once.
yeah, we will let
Nice, Cori.
we'll let the guard captain decide what to do with this thing. Thank you for letting us use your cloak, and again, thank all of you for apparently risking your lives. I honestly didn't think that it was going to be that dangerous in there, but well, I'm glad that I'm glad that we somehow stumbled upon the right people. So you all have my sincerest thanks. And he just
Wow.
sort of gives you a quick bow and then leaves with the
Wait, before he
sleepy guard.
leaves,
Yeah.
I was. Look, dude. I think I gave you the wrong ale. Here, I switch it for an actual thing of ale.
Oh.
Good people.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks.
Nah, yeah, you're welcome. It's it's from the lower districts. It's just better quality.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Mm-hmm.
You just see the tired one just
Keep living the dream, dude.
doing my best. And he just sort of like nods to you and motions with his spear, just like, good job.
Here.
And with that, you guys turn around, and before you splays out all of Shroudport, and you can see that there, again, it does look like there is a celebration of some sort going on. You can see that they have brought out these nice hanging lamps that have a paper basket around just a regular candle, and they seem to be just giving this very nice, gentle light over the town as you look down over it. And with the sunset occurring in the back as well, you can also see that this town is just washed with warmth and light, the likes of which that you guys haven't ever seen before, and the relief that you generally feel over having cleared your name as well as captured a wanted criminal is more than enough to put you in high spirits for the evening. And I think that is where we are going to call it for the night. So I would like to say, first and foremost, thank you to these wonderful players. Let's give a round of applause. If you're clapping alone in your house, it's still a round of applause because we're clapping too. So I would like to say thank you one and all for being such excellent players as I take you through the maze of the mean lock, which I am very glad I was able to get away with as I twirl my mustache maniacally. But you did not come here just for me. You clearly came for all of these wonderful people as well. So I would like to get that part of our show going. So RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, hi. You can find me at RJustice282 on twitter.com. Also, RJustice282 here on the Twitch, where I talk about nerdy stuff on my Twitter and my day-to-day life, and sometimes post a mean selfie. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Next up, LB, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm LB. You can find me on Twitter sometimes. Now that my life is getting a little bit more calm, I'm gonna try and figure out how to stream. So, there is a very secret stream that even I don't know how to get to of me DMing occasionally with my other group. But again, I have no idea how to get to it, and I don't really want you guys to see that yet. So. That's it, though.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. All right, next up, Connor, where can we find you? What do you do?
You can find me here at Cyberwolf1201 on the Twitters, where I shitpost and talk about Critical Role and talk about Dungeons and Dragons and meme occasionally. You can also find me here on Twitch, also Cyberwolf1201, where I have been known to play video games badly and talk about lore slightly less badly because, you know, that's pretty fun. Obviously here on Mondays, I'm here. Cool, you found it already. You can find me on Saturdays on Prairie Stars stream. It's another 5th edition campaign where I'm playing someone else who is slightly draconic, but not quite as draconic. You can also find me on a YouTube somewhere. The best way to do that is through Twitch, where just today I uploaded another special project where Kyle with an N in chat and I got drunk and talked about stuff for the second episode of our podcast. Let's talk about it.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm not on it right now, but you could also should check out Open for Adventure. That's spelled out Open for Adventure on Twitch. It's another D&D channel that help out with behind the scenes. And they're also on Twitter at Open for the number 4 Adventure. It's cool stuff. You should check it out. I think that's all for me.
All right, sounds good. And Danae, where can we find you? What do you do?
Find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do art. You can find all of it there. Probably, most likely. It redirects to my Tumblr. But you can also find my art on Twitter now because I've started to figure out Twitter, kind of, which is to say that I've just connected it to my Tumblr. So, yeah, that's about it. I do commissions if you want those.
They're great. And of course, I am the Indoor Adventurer. You can find me here at Twitch Monday through Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to around 8:30. And then occasionally I will have bonus streams. RJ, I forgot. Wait, no, you already went. I saw you.
Mhm.
No, I was about to say we got like one of the biggest announcements coming up in November.
PAX Unplugged.
PAX
I
Unplugged.
forgot. I legitimately forgot. Yeah. So if you would like to see myself, RJustice, or Danae at PAX Unplugged this coming November, early December, we are all going to be on the show floor wandering about. So come say hi. We can take pictures or get drinks or do something fun. We'll figure it out.
All of the above.
All of the above. We're hopefully going to try and do some karaoke, and so you guys will probably see the result of that either on Twitter or somewhere else, where it will be a very fun time. And as our final announcement, I would also like to say that our wonderful players have reached level 3 with the completion of this story arc. So congrats, guys! Now you have an entire week to think about your choices. So when we come back, you guys we'll figure it out. We have some processes to go through.
Fuck.
It's gonna be a good time.
Oh no.
All right. So until tomorrow for me, but until next week for everyone, we shall see you guys later. All right, everybody.
Bye.